Brynne, have you seen Steel Magnolias?
Oh my god, yes, I love that movie.
Jonsy, you've seen it, right?
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
You've seen Dracula, right?
Oh, I love that movie. It's so good.
Lena, you've seen it. What do you think?
Filmspringa!
Hey, Brynne, have you seen Weekend at Bernie's?
Oh my god, Weekend at Bernie's saved my life.
Jonsy, you have to have seen it.
Oh my god, no, I haven't. Of course not. You've seen Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the best.
That movie scared the out of me when I was a
You know,
kid.
did it scare the out of you? I have not seen that one, and I will be praying for all of your souls.
It's your Rumspringa, Lena.
Haven't seen it.
It's showtime!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Filmspringa. A podcast about all of your favorite films and your sheltered friend who's never seen them. I am Tony, and I'm here with...
Hey guys, I'm Brynne, or as my camera has decided, the ghost of Kurt Cobain. So if you're watching us on YouTube right now, I don't know why I look like this.
Yeah, she's wearing a very 90s. What did you describe it as, Brynne?
Oh, like I was super into grunge in the 8th grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your shirt. Yeah, totally.
And then my camera is making me just super weird and pale. But if you're listening to the podcast, I'm just a normal, beautiful woman.
Yes.
And
And I'm always weird and pale. I'm Jonsy.
hey,
I want that on a shirt. Always weird and pale. So everybody, you guys, this week's film that we're covering is a 1961 American romantic comedy. It is an iconic film, Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn,
Tiffany.
which I was very surprised that Jonsy has never seen this film.
I was as well.
I was really surprised, and this was
one of
I
the
know
ones
why.
Yeah. I know. There's a lot we're going to unpack about that. But this is from our last movie we did was Love and Other Disasters, which featured Breakfast at Tiffany's a lot in the film. Like, it was referenced a lot, so I thought it was a good little tie-in for this week. But
It was a very nice transition.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah. But I love this movie personally. I've watched it. I can't even count how many times I've watched this film over the years.
Yes.
And there are parts we will talk about that are very problematic, but it is a good film. I can't help it. It's a good film all in all. Should we watch the trailer? Get everybody in the mood for a little Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yeah, let's have a little Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Won't you join me?
Yes, join Audrey Hepburn as you've never seen her before, kicking over the traces and bringing to life Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I never could do that.
Audrey Hepburn as Holly Golightly, who typifies and glorifies the glamorous playmates of this dizzily spinning world as she and George Peppard breeze through the glitter and shimmer of New York as it has never been captured before. You have a special invitation to attend Audrey Hepburn's open house on the wildest night New York ever knew.
Yes. Oh, good evening, Ed.
Tell you one thing, Fred, darling. I'd marry you for your money in a minute. Would you marry me for my money?
In a minute.
So I guess it's pretty lucky neither of us is rich, huh? Please, darling, don't sit there looking at me like that.
Holly, I'm in love with you.
So what?
So what? So plenty. I love you. You belong to me.
No. People don't belong to people.
Of course they do.
I'm not gonna let anyone put me in a cage.
I don't want to put you in a cage. I want to love you.
Audrey Hepburn and George Peppard, searching for love in the big town, but sharing only part of their lives until they find the deep, warm moment of truth that can't be hidden, even by the...
Yes. So we cut that off
So
because it's
good.
so long. But you get the gist. You get
Yeah.
the gist. And most people, I think, have seen it. Brynne, give us a quick rundown of Your cat? No. Cat. I love it. Oh, it's
Steals
like the
the
cat in the
show.
movie. Cat.
Yeah, Cat. She's just like
It's a
Cat.
cat. Yeah.
But she's always popping up all over the place when she doesn't need to be.
Give us a quick
So,
rundown of what the movie's about.
I have to tell you, I don't really know what this movie is about. After watching it many, many times, I don't know what the central themes are. I don't know what we are supposed to take from this movie, other than I am immediately going on a all broth diet. Audrey is
I
so
know.
thin.
So thin.
So it is about a woman about town. I think in all of the messaging for the movie, they called her a kook because they didn't want to call her a call girl.
She was a female escort. Another.
Yes,
She's
but
been
not
referred
an
to as
S.
that. Yeah.
They made a decision to call her a kook.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we don't want to call her a call girl. Don't want her to seem like she's like a lady of the night. So Holly Golightly is our heroine. To feel better, she likes to eat a croissant and drink some coffee while looking at Tiffany's. And she did not finish that croissant
No,
because
she
I was
didn't.
thinking, a woman that looks like Audrey Hepburn is not eating croissants. And then she threw it away after she bites. And I was like, that seems right.
She's like, fuck
Seems
this.
right.
Yeah, that seems about right.
God, I gotta start doing
And
that.
she's living like her sort of bon vivant lifestyle. And then she meets Fred, her upstairs neighbor. He becomes sort of
Paul,
embroiled.
but she calls him Fred.
Oh, she calls him Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. His name is Paul Varjak. And he's an author who has a sugar mama who's sort of, he's like in a weird deal, just like Holly's in a weird deal. And then later we find out that Holly's real name is Lula May, and she was married when she was 14, and she tried to escape that. She's got a brother named Fred who's in the army, and she can play the ukulele. And she's got a cat named Cat. And
Well,
I
and she
don't-
lost her accent by learning French.
Mm. And then
I don't
pretty
think
much
that's
the
how that
plot.
works.
That's pretty much the
That's
plot. For the longest time, to add on to your point, I did not know what this film was about. I just remember loving it. But it is based off of, I believe it's the 1948 book by
Truman Capote.
I know, I had it up.
Yeah,
But
Truman
Capote
Capote.
wrote it, yeah. And the book was set in 1948 is when the book was set, but it came out in a couple years before the film, if I remember right. But the book actually is much different. Not a
Very
whole lot
different.
different, but the tone is
Well,
much different than the
Paul
movie.
is gay in the book.
Yeah, actually, in the book is all from Paul's perspective, unlike the
Mhm.
movie. And they never allude and come out to say that he's gay in the book, but it's always alluded to. But
But
in the
they make it very clear that he is not interested in Holly in a romantic way.
because in the book he refers to his love for Holly as one of his mom's like best friend or a sister kind of love.
Yes. Like
Yeah,
it's
which I
not
was-
at all. Because
Yeah.
it's Truman Capote. So it's like, but
And
he's
he
not,
was an openly gay guy writing a bunch of books, but it was a novella, the book,
Mhm.
and the character of Holly Golightly in the book was 19 at the time and got married
Yeah.
at 14. Where the movie, when Audrey Hepburn shot the movie, she was in her early 30s and she had just had a child, and that's why she was super thin because of the pregnancy afterwards. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah, that's what happens when you get pregnant.
Yeah, for her, apparently she got super skinny afterwards, and then
That
yeah,
does not happen to
No.
anyone but
but
Audrey
her.
Hepburn.
So the book was written in 1958 is when it was written, and it took in the book the timeline was 1943 or 48. I can't remember
Okay.
offhand, but
Yeah.
yeah, and the book is much seedier and much darker tones to it than
Yeah.
the movie.
It's not going very lightly.
No,
that movie,
not at all.
you know?
But there's a lot of stuff in the book that's in the movie. It's just halfway through the movie follows the book pretty much until like the mid part of the movie. Then it takes a drastic change because the book ends with the Paul character, and Holly Golightly having a huge falling out and never speaking to each other again.
Never talking again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, and in the movie, the character in the movie, the tall girl in the white that I love, and there's Timber.
Yeah, from Arkansas.
Yes.
something.
Huh?
What is it? It's like Wild Creek or Wildberg or
Something like that. But in
Something.
Meg Wildwood is the character's name.
Wildwood.
In the
Yeah.
book, she has a huge part in the book. It's Holly's best friend in the book,
Yeah.
which
And
is
then this
so
she's just like,
bizarre.
what are you doing here?
I know, but the film, we'll go back. We'll talk more about the film now since we kind of covered the book. So, Brynne, when was the first time you saw this film and became
Ooh,
aware of it?
yes. I saw this film in like middle school at
Yeah.
a sleepover.
Really?
So all the girls were just like the whole night being Audrey Hepburn. And then, and I was always very aware of it, like of the costume, of always being like
Mm.
breakfast at Tiffany's and that being a huge costume for women, especially in my neighborhood with the moms that hung out with my mom. I said that in a weird way. And so we watched it and we just thought it was like so amazing and so glamorous and like didn't really understand any of the undertones, but just
Yeah.
thinking like, ooh, Tiffany's, breakfast at Tiffany's. And just thinking Audrey Hepburn is like the most beautiful woman in the history of the world. But then I think, like she was also very sad. I think like as continually inspired generations of sad girls. Because you're like,
Yeah.
she's sad, but also you like envy her and she's so beautiful and elegant, but like her life is like meaningless and sad. And then I wonder why everyone gets like anxiety and depression when we get to our age, because we're like, we're not living like Holly Golightly. And it's like, you don't want to live
I
like Holly
know.
Golightly. So we're really stuck between a rock
Yeah.
and a hard place. What about you, Tony? When did you first see this movie?
I think I was probably around, I had to be like 10, 11, 12, around that age. And I remember watching it on like, it was like Turner Classic Movies or
Yep.
one of those ones. And I remember watching it because we weren't allowed to watch it, but I stumbled on it. And it's the same, I think why I love this film, because it's about a woman who just lives life by her own beat and does like what she kind of wants. And I've always been attracted to those type of characters in films. And this one, I was obsessed with like the Hollywood glamour filter this film had and how beautiful it was, and the little black dress and just how effortlessly gorgeous Audrey Hepburn was in the film. And even her acting and the way she was, it just seemed so effortless.
And
I
her
was
like
like, I
weird
just wanna be
European
like
accent
that.
that you can't place.
Yeah, like
even
a
though she's from
weird
Arkansas.
European accent.
Hey, her and Brittany Murphy have that in common, I guess.
I know.
What's the accent?
But George Papard in this film, I remember as a kid, I had the hugest crush. I thought he was
Ooh, yeah.
so freaking handsome. Oh,
Mhm.
I did. Oh,
He is
yeah.
very handsome.
Yeah, but I remember really, really falling in love with the film, and when I first saw it as a kid, just really wanting her lifestyle and finding that romance at the end of the film where the two characters, Paul and her, finally share that kiss, and then it's just all romantic in the rain with the cat and all of that stuff, even though she makes a weird mouth face thing when
Yeah,
she
she
goes to
does.
kiss him. Right? Or is it just me that noticed it?
No, kissing like my grandpa.
Yeah.
What?
He did not like George Papard.
No, they became better friends after filming, but during the film they didn't get along, and so did Patricia Neal, who played 2E, the woman,
Yeah, but yeah.
her and George did not get along during the filming of the.
Everyone said that he was like really pompous
Yeah.
and wouldn't take notes, and no one
Yeah.
wanted him around.
Nobody wanted him around. But the film was directed by Blake Edwards, who really fought for the film. He wasn't the original director, but Audrey Hepburn had what's it called? She feuded with the original director. That's why Blake Edwards came in and directed it. But what's it called? Truman Capote did not want
No.
Audrey Hepburn cast as Holly Golightly. When you read the
Oh,
book,
why?
it was written for Marilyn Monroe. The
Marilyn
character
Monroe.
in the book is so Marilyn Monroe.
But she said no.
No, yeah.
So,
So
did
did
Shirley
Shirley
MacLaine
Yeah.
and Kim Novak. You're like, what?
Yeah.
But at
I was
least Shirley
surprised.
MacLaine says she regrets it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Truman
But this
Capote.
film made Audrey Hepburn. This is what people think when you say Audrey Hepburn, Roman Holiday and Breakfast at Tiffany's,
hit peak
right?
in her in that dress, and like
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine anyone else playing her, but the person who actually wrote the character was like,
I
no,
know.
this is so miscast.
But I remember as a kid when I watched it, I was like, yep, I'm gay. Oh, and I loved the costuming for this. And Givenchy
Oh,
was the designer for it,
Givenchy.
who
Mhm.
later, like when in my early 20s, I was really into like Vogue magazine and all of the fashion stuff. And I used to really love Givenchy's designs, and especially his pie cologne when it came out. I remember I was obsessed with it. But
Yeah.
that started my obsession with Givenchy back in the day, started from this movie because
Oh,
he
really?
made the
That
two
makes sense.
dresses. Or
Yeah.
he did a couple of dresses for this, but he also costumed her originally in Sabrina. He showed up to her studio before she was shooting Sabrina, and he thought she introduced herself, if I remember, as Katharine Hepburn, and he told her, "I don't have time for you, madam, right now." And so she asked if she could just see stuff from the last collection, and she picked 3 dresses off of the rack and wore them in Sabrina. And
Oh
they
gosh.
became like iconic looks from the movie. And then from then on, her and Givenchy had a great relationship, and he costumed her almost for everything.
Oh,
So
she pulled a real pretty woman on him.
yeah, yeah, she
Work off
did.
commission.
But
It
the
was
movie
sick.
did really well. It made
Mhm.
14 million, and it only cost 2.5 million to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, they said that the biggest production like point of it was there were 2 things. This was the first time that Tiffany's ever opened on a Sunday
Yeah.
was to shoot for this, and they had to bring on like 35 extra bodyguards, and like it cost all this money.
Yeah.
And then the party scene, they took like 6 days to shoot it and
I
spared
love
like
that scene.
no expense.
That's my favorite scene in the whole
It's
film.
the
I'm
best
like,
scene.
I
That scene with that
wanted to throw a
that girl's
party
in the
like that.
mirror. She's in the mirror laughing at herself, and then she's in the mirror crying at herself.
And the whole party scene was choreographed, but the director let all of the extras improvise their own little gimmicks. Like the
That's
whole
rad.
thing with the woman in the mirror, he just said to the actress, "You like to laugh, laugh in the mirror." And then he said, "Yeah, I think she'll have a breakdown." So she ended up crying 6 days
It's
later.
the best part.
A
when
lot
that-
of it was made up. Like they just
when
came
the-
up with it on the spot.
Yeah, when the agent goes, what's your name? When you called, and that tall lady goes, Irving.
Irving.
And I was like, yes.
I
Irving's my
think we have a
favorite
clip of the
character.
party scene. Do we have a clip?
Oh.
Yeah, let's watch the clip of the party scene. So people
Oh, awesome.
I mean, I love the music. There's no dialogue, so we can talk about it.
Henry Mancini.
Henry Mancini. He wrote the music, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Moon River.
Oh, so good. And I love when her best friend comes and she's like, she's dreadful.
She's dreadful bore.
Dreadful bore. That's it.
What are you doing here?
Oh, it made me want to throw cocktail parties like in my early 20s because of this movie. I was like, I love it. Everybody's dressed
yes.
up to the nines, looking
Yes.
fabulous.
Like the Mad Men style.
And everybody in the party scene was drinking alcohol. The director had champagne brought in, and everybody got
Love it.
completely loaded for that scene. So it was a
Love it.
real like a party. And he
Nice.
said, the director Blake said that he had so much footage from the party scene that he was able to just pick and choose the funniest moments and put it all together because
I mean,
he said it
there's
was
so many
really like a
good-
party.
That's so fun.
Right? And
Oh,
Jonsy, as an actress, wouldn't that be amazing to do that?
I would love that job.
Right?
Heck yes.
Heck
Just-
yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of I did that in Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, I was pretty much drunk the whole show.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard this story.
But yeah, the film also it was the film to me also was really weird compared to the book because the book she was real, like we talked earlier, really an escort, a lady of the night. And one reviewer called her an American geisha, which was problematic at the time with other parts of the film, which we will get into.
No thanks.
Yeah, but I also like that they kind of took the Paul character and made him kind of a gigolo kind of character.
like
That's the vibe I got.
They put them on
Yeah.
equal footing in that way
Yeah.
because I was like, he can't judge her. Like, not that you should, but also they were like, oh, he's sort of doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
It's so true. But yeah, the music for this movie.
Henry
Yeah,
Mancini.
when the producers from Paramount or the studio head saw the film with an audience, they wanted the Moon River song cut from the film. They
Yes,
said
I heard
no,
that.
and Audrey Hepburn stood up and said "Over my dead body," and they kept
Good
it
for
in the
her.
film. And it was the only Oscar the film won was for Moon River.
Best
Yeah,
song.
best
Wow.
song. Isn't that crazy?
Henry Mancini. You gotta love
Jeez.
Henry Mancini.
Henry Mancini. The score of the film is beautiful, I think.
It is.
And the way it's shot is so gorgeous. The way it makes New York as
New
a
York
third
look like
character,
it's
another
like
character.
the pinnacle of like
God.
New York is the place to
Yeah.
be, and like look at what it's like. And then when she's like walking down the street, even in the first
Mm.
shot, when she gets out of the cab and she's
Yes.
walking around Tiffany's, and you're just like, oh man,
You're like, I want to do that.
that's
You
the
know,
life.
Audrey Hepburn hated croissants. Hated them.
I was like, I want to throw away a croissant in front of Tiffany's.
What's to hate about a croissant?
Thank
It just
you.
made me want one.
So weird.
I want a croissant and coffee.
But I was
That's
also like
amazing.
looking at that croissant, and I was like, that croissant, it's too crispy.
Too crispy. Do you like
Didn't
it
look it.
soft? Do you like it soft?
Yeah, look, it's soft.
It's
And
always
full of
soft on
chocolate.
the inside.
Right.
Holy moly, man.
Yeah. Oh man, but this film, there was a lot of
Debauchery.
There was a lot of debauchery in the film. There is, before we get into Jonesy's perception of the film, there is a topic of the film that is very heated even today.
Yeah.
Is the character that Mickey Rooney plays in the film. He plays a Japanese character, but in yellowface. And it's
Not
super
good.
offensive and racist and still does not hold up even to this day. It's cringeworthy when you watch it.
Man.
So when I was doing research for the show on this, it was very interesting, the different point of views when it came to the topic of Mickey Rooney's character in this film. In the book, just so everybody knows, in the book, that character makes a very small appearance at the beginning of the book and never is talked about again. The
Okay,
character in the book that does everything that, what is the character in the movie's name? I'm trying
It's
to
like
look.
Mr.
I'm not even going to try because I'm all
I'm not gonna
butchered.
try.
Nope.
Yona
Mr.
Yonoshi?
Offensive.
Yeah, Mr. Offensive.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
it's
we'll
like
call him.
Mr. Uniashi.
Uniashi, I think is how you say it. But anyway,
Yeah.
so in the book, it's played by an older woman is the character.
It's like one of those like typical nosy neighbor
Yeah,
type,
and I'm like,
like
why didn't they keep that from the book and transferred it to the movie, or just keep the character a white character? Why the
why
yellow
did you
face?
have to make him Japanese like that?
I read that a lot of everybody involved with the film really wanted to recast Mickey Rooney, but the reason why they kept that character in there, Mickey Rooney playing it, was because of the director, Blake Edwards. He was really wanting him in the film to do it, and now
And
he regrets it.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then
it's
Mickey
supposed to
Rooney.
be the comic relief,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's just so. Was it
Oh.
ever not problematic? Like when it was released, where people were like, "It's good comedy."
Well, the
Yeah, I
thing-
mean, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, the thing when it was released, at the time in America, the civil rights movement was just starting,
Yeah.
but people just didn't protest. People didn't say anything, even though people were offended by it. It was just the norm back there in 1961. Which today, God forbid that happens, you would be
Oh my God,
canceled like
no.
nobody's business.
No.
Oh,
So
And like Mickey Rooney has waffled back and forth. Like in his autobiography, he
Oh,
was like, I'm
yeah.
ashamed that I did that. And then later on, someone
He
was like,
defends
what about
it.
this? And he was like, it was funny. And you're just like, okay.
yeah.
okay. Sit down, Grandpa.
So this is a question for both of you when it comes to this particular character in the film. Do you think it diminishes the film as being a good film because they have that character in there, or is it a kind of not a bit of a reminder of what America used to be, and looking and going, that would not even fly today, that wouldn't even fly 15 years ago, as of where mindset of people were back then?
It's tough. It's like a little bit of a case of separating the art from the artist. It's like,
Yeah.
can you pluck out this one? And believe me, like I agree with there's been this whole movement of like people are thinking, well, we'll just cut that part out
Mhm.
and then pretend like it didn't happen. And I don't think that that's effective or good, because we can't just erase it and pretend like we weren't like this. So it reminds us. But I think it's hard to like, I mean, I think, every time you show it or every time you sort of hold it up or watch it, like there are people that are going to be hurt by it.
For sure. For sure. But it also reminds you of the racism within Hollywood.
Oh my
That's still
God, yeah.
happening. Because, I mean, if you look at even film in the last 10 years, the representation of Asian people and even Hispanic people are
It's terrible.
hardly anywhere. If you
Yeah.
really look at film and now how many films come out a year in the big budget films, you don't really see representation of Asian people or Hispanic people for that
Yeah,
matter.
like
Yeah.
Hispanic people and like particularly Asian people and like
Yeah.
Asian men are like
Oh, yeah.
really super underrepresented. So then it's like, well, we want an Asian man, but like the character.
It's
We don't want to give an
villain.
opportunity. We don't want to give an
Right.
opportunity to an
There's
actual Asian
Yeah.
man to play this. It's like,
there's
Yeah, which
still
is weird.
caricatures, even if they're not as wildly offensive, but it's still a caricature.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting though? This movie came out in 1961. The same year Flower Drum Song came out with an all Asian cast.
oh wow.
Isn't that bizarre?
It
Which I
is
love
bizarre.
that film. God, it's
Flower
such a
Drum
good
Song is the best.
movie.
Lena, have you seen that?
Nope.
Oh my
Okay.
God. No? So
That's like a
Jonesy,
No.
what did
theater.
you think for the first time watching this? What was your take? Because I'm sure you've heard about this film a lot, right? So there's been a lot
Yes.
of iconic images from this film and fashion from this film. So experiencing it for the first time and seeing the source material of where all this stuff comes from, how did that make you feel? And how was it watching the problematic Mickey Rooney character for the first time?
Yeah, because Tony and I knew it was coming.
Oh yeah, yeah. for
I
sure.
knew it was coming as well. I know enough about the film because it's so iconic to know that that was a part. I didn't realize there was as many scenes.
Yeah.
So when it kept going, I was like, oh, okay, yep, it's just gonna keep going.
They're not gonna stop. Okay. Did it make you so
Yeah, all
uncomfortable?
right.
It made me
Um,
uncomfortable. I fast forwarded the parts because I got
fast-forwarded through
kind of
them.
cringeworthy.
No, I watched it in its entirety.
Yeah.
Plus, the app I was watching it through on the TV wouldn't let me
Wouldn't let you fast forward.
or rewind. So it was like pause or play, bitch.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all you get.
But it was very problematic to see, and it just felt very unnecessary. And I agreed, like the film stands alone without it. You could absolutely just cut those scenes out and,
Yeah.
maybe if they're playing it on TV in the middle of the day, that's what you should do. Just like you would kind of take a rated R movie and cut out certain scenes when you're playing it in the middle of the day on basic cable.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should be erased completely because it is a part of our history and our history in filmmaking. And you do have to keep that as a ruler of how far we've come and
Yeah.
how far we need to go. And, I think in projects like ours, we should still have access to that kind of full thing. But maybe the made for TV version, we don't have to keep putting that
Yeah.
there.
No, I
So that's
agree.
my kind of compromise situation of
Yeah.
how we can move forward. Maybe I know that's not easily done with every movie.
No.
Maybe characters are woven in a lot
Mhm.
more
But also
to the
too,
story.
with that character appearing in the film at that time within American film history, most of the Asian representation had been villains up to that point.
Yeah.
Or if it was a female Asian woman in a movie, they were exotic kind of. They always played a prostitute.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yes, they were like
So
concubines or
so
things like that.
I
yeah.
wish they would have found a really good comedic Asian actor in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also too, like doing the research, it made me remember that America's history with Asian racism goes way back. I mean, we had concentration camps, 15 of them
Internment
in
camp- yeah, we had
internment
internment camps.
camps.
We
Correction.
were like, just hey, you look Asian, and we're in a war with
yeah.
Asia. I'm just gonna lock you up. I was like, we're also in a war with Germany. Were you going around locking all the
that-
Germans up?
yeah.
This is a World War II podcast now.
I know. This is a history podcast. But it
Oh my
was
gosh.
interesting that in 1991, one of the Star Trek movies, I forget which one it was, but George Takei was one of the main characters who didn't speak with an Asian accent and who had his own ship and was like not like yes sir and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Even though he was
exactly.
in the series before, but it was this particular Star Trek movie that came out in 1981. I can't remember the name of it, where he was like a
Just a
normal.
guy.
Yeah, they didn't do a
Is it the one where they
caricature.
have to get the whale back in time? Remember
There's
that-
so
that
many of
one?
them. I can't remember.
That was a movie.
Yeah.
Like go find
But
a
yeah,
whale.
like I think when I rewatch the film now, especially with the climate we're in, it was very much more triggering and much more just I don't know. It was much
It
more
made me very
aware.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me very
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
And then I started looking and thinking like there isn't a lot of representation for Asian people in film. And then I was thinking, what about Hispanic people? No, we have Selena. Am I familiar? That's it. Coco.
Yeah, Coco. That's good.
Oh man, but we are halfway through the show. You know what time it's for? Do you guys know? Well, hey,
What
look
time
up
is
the,
it?
look up
Pairings.
the music.
No. What do we call our 6 degrees?
There it is.
Let's
Name drop.
Dolly Parton. Rachel Maddow.
Name
I spend an hour with her every single day.
I once played a drinking game with
Celine Dion, Liza Minnelli. Cher, Laura Dern. I don't know her.
Who would you say is the most famous person in your phone?
my good friend Ben Affleck and his crippling addiction to back tattoos.
I have the best Lady Gaga story of all time.
Hate him, loathe her, over them, cancel it, tell me everything.
So this is a segment. It's our version of 6 Degrees. Name drop. We're going to pick a person from this film, an actor, and then try to connect that actor with an actor from the next film we're doing, which I don't know
I'm
how we're going to
hopeless
do
when
this.
it comes to the older movies.
I
Oh my
know.
goodness.
This is gonna be
I
hard.
don't know. What do you think, Brynne? Pick an actress or actor from this film.
I mean, like it has to be Audrey Hepburn,
I mean,
right?
she's the closest, or like
Well,
the most.
we already
popular-
did
I don't
Mickey Rooney
know.
last time.
Yeah. So the
This
next
is gonna
film.
be hard. I don't think we're gonna get this one.
I don't either. This one's gonna be tricky because the next film was 1989, so there's a couple years
It's a
in
lot of
between.
years.
Who should we pick from the next film? Should we do Beverly D'Angelo? I mean,
Or-
I
or-
don't know. This is gonna be a hard one, y'all. This is gonna be hard.
Tough.
Yeah.
Maybe
Should
or-
we just skip this segment this week?
Okay, great. Let's skip it. Let's skip it this week.
You know what? We're gonna pick. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Audrey Hepburn and Chevy Chase. If any of you out there can
you guys
get it,
get
because
it.
you know we can't, leave it in the comments below on the video or DM us on Instagram, Filmspringa, and we will revisit this on the next episode and
Yes.
shout it out and let you know who actually made the connection between
And
Audrey
you guys know
Hepburn.
it kills me not
And-
to be able to do
I
this because I
know.
just can't put the energy into
Between
it.
Audrey
So-
Hepburn and
hard.
Chevy Chase. Those are your 6 degrees, everybody. So get to work,
Oh
figure
my
it out.
gosh.
Because
God.
we can't.
I can't do it. I can't.
Okay,
Moving
Jonsy,
on.
give us your initial reaction to the film, how it made you feel, all of that. We already covered the Mickey Rooney part, so we don't need to do that, but just like your feel of the film. What it made
So
you
the
feel.
rest of it was actually better than I expected. I
Okay.
expected it to be because when I see the girls who are like, oh yeah, Audrey Hepburn, my breakfast at Tiffany's, yeah, I'm like basic bitch.
You are judging them?
I am.
And then now
I'm judging them. And so I just thought this would be a basic bitch movie and kind of blah. And it wasn't. It was actually pretty good and
Yeah.
enjoyable. It was filled with debauchery, so I understand why I was never allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just one bad thing to the next bad thing with bad people doing bad things
And
endlessly.
you never get to see anyone bone.
No, it's just
Um,
implied.
It's implied. Plus, they're both
I didn't think there was
hookers.
any debauchery in this film.
they're both
I feel it was debauchery.
courtesans.
I was like, that's a Saturday night for me, everything that happened in this film. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
a tame Saturday
Anything.
night.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I'm speaking from the
Okay.
The
with
child.
the evangelical glasses on.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's very sinful. It's all the deadly sins. It's very bad.
But did you
um,
enjoy it with those goggles on? Let's see.
if I have, no. But I did enjoy it with the goggles off.
That's what I was getting to next.
Yeah.
So take those
Yes.
goggles off. Give us
Okay.
your viewpoint of it, Lena, now watching it.
I feel like I watched it at the appropriate age, 38.
Okay.
That's the
appropriate age. Jesus
So I
Christ,
don't
here,
know what
Bryn's
rating
like, I was
that
a
is.
sleepover in like elementary
a
school.
yeah,
I was
I know.
like 10.
He was like, you must be 38 or older to watch this film.
Well, diamonds don't look
felt
good
like-
over on a what is it? A woman under 40?
A woman
that
under
what the
40,
line-
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm like,
So,
bullshit.
yeah, I'm almost old enough to wear diamonds.
Almost?
Yay!
Yay. I'm
Without
well
looking
past
tacky.
that age.
You're almost at your diamond birthday.
I'm almost at my diamond birthday.
Is that what 40 is, your diamond birthday?
It is now.
What is the 50? Is 50 pearl? Is
I
that
have
when you
no
get
idea.
a pearl necklace? Nope, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. I knew it when
Now
it was
you're at
coming
the
out of my
horny level I
mouth. I
like.
was like, nope, stop, and it still went. Nope, not going to go there.
Tony, I like your horny level tonight.
Shut
You're
up.
peak for horny levels.
I know.
Oh, yes. How is this movie on the horny level for Bryn's
So
scale?
down there.
Yeah.
But
No,
It was a
this level
pearl,
isn't
just a
horny at
solitary
all.
pearl.
they're people who trade sex for money, though.
Yeah.
Sex
Like a
is all
child
over
bride
the place.
situation that I'm not
Which is
into,
real
and
Yeah.
a real underlying sadness that I want active, fun, happy horniness.
Yeah.
So putting the church glasses back on, the reason why their lives are so sad is because it's filled of void fun stuff, but that's just debauchery and nothing fulfilling like God or Jesus.
Oh,
Oh, dear
totally.
Glasses are off now.
You know what? In the
Had to
film,
scold you sinners.
you just
I'll
called us
take
all
it.
sinners. You hear that? We're all sinners. I'm okay with that.
Me too.
Take it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But the
Prefer it.
film, towards the end, it gets a little sad. The book is sadder, though, I think, especially when
Yeah.
you realize Fred is her brother and he dies. And then she has a
Yeah.
meltdown in her apartment. Oh my gosh. And wrecks
was
everything. And I'm like, she is a skinny, skinny woman. How is she pushing that armoire over?
How?
How
No
would she have the
way.
strength to do
She
that?
has a broken heart, man.
I
broken
guess.
heart.
Broken heart will do that.
Jeez.
Where do broken
Hearts
hearts
go- No.
We are not that podcast.
No, we're not that podcast. But Jonsy, was there anything that surprised you with this film that you were shocked and awe with, or like had that feeling? This is the one thing I always wonder with you, Jonsy, with the films we have reviewed, watching them for the first time. Is there ever a moment of wonder, like, oh, now I get where this reference comes from?
Yeah.
Sometimes there wasn't too much because I already knew what it was referencing when the references I did know. There were a few scenes, like the scene with them in the 5 and dime shop when they're trying to steal.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I've seen this scene before.
Yeah.
I've seen this. I just didn't know what it was from and what context and why these adults were doing these things.
Yeah.
So did you ever
So-
hear me in Pensacola when we were having our crazy times in Pensacola? Because this is a thing I will do when I get drunk at bars is I'll go, I'll pay for my own whiskey and don't you forget it. I always do that. Have you ever heard me do that?
I have. I just thought that was something you came up with.
No. You would say
I
that,
just thought-
Brynn?
Oh,
I
all
would-
the time.
Oh my God.
I just thought that was something Brynn said
Pay for my own whiskey.
when
Forget
intoxicated.
it.
But I do love like how in the movie Holly Golightly's character refers to Tiffany's as being home.
Yes.
Oh, and it just, yeah. I think we have that clip. Do we have that clip? Yeah, let's play that clip of how she describes Tiffany's to her.
Yeah, that's
Especially when they go there.
it's a peak movie.
Don't you just love it?
Love what?
Tiffany's.
I love the music.
Isn't it wonderful?
So good.
Do you see what I mean? How nothing bad could ever happen to you in a place like this? It isn't that I give a hoot about jewelry, except diamonds, of course. Like that.
Yellow Canary Diamond.
Yes. That's where that came from. Like, I'm really obsessed.
What do you think?
Which I think are
Well,
Of course, personally, I think it'd be tacky to wear diamonds before I'm 40.
Well, you're right. But in the meantime, you should have something.
I'll wait.
Something pretty.
No, I'm going to buy you a present. You bought me one, a typewriter ribbon, and it brought me luck.
All right, but Tiffany's can be pretty expensive.
I've got my check and $10.
Oh, I wouldn't let you cash a check.
At Tiffany's?
But a present for $10 or under, that I'll accept. Of course, I don't exactly know what we're going to find at Tiffany's for $10.
Her accent kills me. Her accent kills me. Do you guys own anything from Tiffany's?
Yeah.
What? I'm curious. I do. I have a ring from Tiffany's, actually.
So when I was in middle school, it was the thing for the girls to have the Tiffany's bracelet.
Yes, I remember
that had
this.
like the weird toggle on it and the heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
How old were you when this came out?
How old was I when this movie came out?
No,
Negative.
when that obsession, because I remember this and I was in my 20s when it happened.
When I was in middle school.
Oh, wow. God, I'm old.
And then I have a necklace that has a bee.
A bee?
On.
Like an Ugly Betty, how she had the bee for Betty?
Yep.
Nice. I had a ring from, because this is way before Rob. I dated a gentleman who was.
Don't listen, producer Rob. Yeah. Don't listen.
I dated a gentleman who he was had a lot of money, let's just put it. So he bought me a ring from Tiffany's and I still have it because I was like, hell no, it's Tiffany's. I'm keeping it.
Producer Rob, throw that away.
No, it's hidden from him. So
throw it into Mordor.
No way. I'm going to hawk that one day.
It's a good ring. Keep it.
Yeah, it's a pretty ring. Why not?
Did you sage it? Can we sage it together?
Oh, I only got it because I was like, oh, if he's going to offer, hell yeah, I'll get it. I'll say whatever I need, do whatever I need to get that ring.
Sage it and get the energy out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
New good energy.
Boil it in hot water.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Get all the bad mojo off of it.
Yeah, you gotta do it. That's what I'm gonna do with my wedding ring.
I do love that scene when they go into Tiffany's and she talks about it. Do you notice through the whole movie the color Tiffany blue shows up randomly in different spots?
Yes, Tiffany
throughout
blue
the
everywhere.
whole movie. Like her mask that she wears with the glasses, Tiffany blue, and Irving's dress, Tiffany blue, right? It's scattered throughout the whole movie.
Oh,
I
Irving.
love it. Irving.
You know what I never noticed until this, and I know that it's like clear because she takes them out and puts them in, but those tassels that she's wearing when she first meets Paul, they're earplugs.
Yeah. They're earplugs with
I never
tassels.
knew that. I thought they were earrings.
I'm totally doing that costume for Halloween. Just an oversized tuxedo shirt with the mask and the hair and just the tassels and walk around.
So
That's gonna be
when
Halloween.
in Big Little Lies,
Yeah.
when they did the Audrey Hepburn party, or all the women dressed up in the dress, like the Holly Golightly in the dress, and Reese Witherspoon did that. She had the mask and
See,
the
I
oversized
think that is
tuxedo
so
shirt.
cute.
Yeah.
Jonesy, you could pull
She
that
looked
off.
great.
You should do that.
You should, Jonesy. You would.
Did you
pull that
know
off.
that the cat that they used in the film, there were 9 cats that they used for the one cat?
Yes.
And
I
apparently,
felt so bad for the cat.
I know. Apparently, in the last scene with the rain, the cat stunk so bad
I
that
bet.
like the director just couldn't be around the cat. And Audrey Hepburn's here holding it and like smelling it. I'm
Smelling
like,
it. I was trying to
Kissing
get
over it.
I was trying to get Sparkles, our little cat, to
Yeah.
recognize. I was like, Sparkles, look, it's like you. And she was like, I don't
And
want
she's
this.
like, I'm not having it.
Leave me alone. Look at her right now. I don't want to be on camera.
She's like, get me out of here.
I
Can
was
we
like,
talk
"She
about
doesn't
wanna
Audrey,
do it."
Audrey Hepburn's bangs throughout the film? Her wisp of a bang
Holy
that
moly,
drives
what
me
is that?
crazy. I'm like,
Where
cut
was
it all
an
off.
on-set hairstylist, and why were they not paying attention?
Drives me. Was
All
that
you
the
have to
style
do
back
is
then?
cut. Let me
I
fix
think
that
it
real
was.
quick.
I had a real problem with the streaks as well.
See, I
Those
didn't mind the
chunky,
streaks.
chunky streaks. I didn't like it.
I
was
have
like,
always
bangs
been
and the streaks.
obsessed with the fashion from that era, like the late
Mhm.
50s, early 60s, like in, I think it was Tom Ford's movie Single Man. Oh, I love the styling of that movie.
Look at you.
But I've always been obsessed with that era, and like
Yeah.
this way, maybe it started with this movie. Now
It
that I
probably
think-
did. I think that's where it
Jesus
started for a lot of
Christ.
people.
right?
This and Sweet Charity.
Oh,
the,
Sweet Charity, good.
the
Such a good
fashion and
movie.
Sweet Charity is a real.
Yeah, for sure. What were some of your favorite parts of this movie, Brynne? When you
Irving.
Irving, okay.
I mean, now that I look at it, I'm
Now?
like, oh, Irving. When I was young, I think it's like the opening scene and then the Moon River scene.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the Moon River.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote that in like one key because she couldn't sing.
She couldn't do it. And I was like, yes. And then
She
I
did
also
great, though.
She did great.
She-
She did great.
She did great.
And made the
part-
song iconic.
Yeah. And then also the part where Jed of the Beverly Hillbillies comes to claim her.
Yeah.
And he's like, make her eat. She's skinny. And I was like, I bet you they wrote that just because they were like, people are going to be talking about how skinny Audrey Hepburn is.
Well,
Does he
I
say
can't
in the
remember
book?
if it's in
Tied
the book.
around her waist twice. I was like, what is that like?
I can't remember if that's in the book or not.
I can't remember if it's in the book, but I was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I want to go back and see if that was in the book because I bet you they put it in just
I
for this.
actually really like the book. I actually kind of like the book a little better.
Well, I like
I'm
In
gonna
Cold
need
Blood.
to read the book.
Yeah, you should read the book.
What, Brynne?
It's good. Well, I love In Cold Blood, and this was like
Cold Blood was
pivot
such a good book.
from that. So I like both of the style. I like Truman Capote's style.
I do too. I like his narrative and the way he really builds the characters and how in the book the relationship between Paul and Holly are much deeper than what's in the film.
Yes,
and I do like that in the book there's not a romantic relationship.
It's like a relationship and a friendship built on like not just these like romantic feelings and not these feelings of jealousy. So like when he gets protective of her, it's because he's like, you are not doing what's good for you. It's not because like he's jealous or he wants ownership of her. It is much more of them being on an equal footing.
Yes.
As opposed to these like possessive, relationship feelings, which I loved in the book. It made it that much more complicated and rich.
And the characters in the book, especially I guess you could say like the co-stars in the book or the side characters were much more fleshed out than in the film. And added a little more to the story, I thought.
It just made it a lot richer and
I think what the film really did well was cinematically, visually, absolutely stunning. And I think if it wasn't for Audrey Hepburn in this part, maybe the movie wouldn't have been as successful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so. Well, and
I think hearing the rest of the cast that was considered or thrown out there, I think it would have been a really good film no matter what. I could see Shirley MacLaine doing really well.
I don't think Marilyn Monroe would have been good in this version of Holly Golightly, the film version. Now, if they kept it like the book, would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, what?
This is something I want to see. I want to see the book made.
See, I do too.
Keep the character
really
gay. I want to see what y'all are talking about.
And
I want to see that movie made.
Paul's point of view.
Perspective.
Yeah. That's what I would.
Because I think that would be I want to read the book, but I think that would be a really good movie too. That could be a standalone from this movie, so it's not a sequel. It's a total
reimagination. As they say.
Yeah. And it's really interesting with this film. There's so many throughout pop culture since this film came out. There are so many references, so many versions.
Handbags.
Yeah, handbags. The movie we did last week, Love and Other Disasters, was influenced by this film. You know what I mean? Like the play, the one that producer Rob did, Bees as Honey Drown, right? Yeah, was based off of the book. So there's been a lot of pop culture references through the year that come from this movie, which I really think it's really cool that a movie has that big of an effect on pop culture.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, Jonsy, before we move on to pairing, how would Mom and Pop Jones reacted to this movie back in the day? Did they ever watch it? Do you know?
No, we did not play a lot of classics in my house. That was not something that I remember we watched Sound of Music, Bedknobs on Broomsticks.
Oh, I love Bedknobs and Broomsticks. It's so good.
Pete's Dragon, we did those kind of classics, but all the rest of the classics we just ignored and pretended weren't there. And as a little kid, I just was like, black and white means boring.
like that's funny to me because in my family, it was
Yeah.
like it did not matter what the subject matter was. They're like, it's old, it's fine for them to watch.
Oh yeah, same.
They
I
don't
think
cuss. Like they don't cuss and
Yeah.
they don't show sex. And that's what
Yeah.
my parents, I mean, my
Oh my
parents didn't care
goodness.
about anything. But they were like, what? They're like, it's black and white. Nothing's gonna
some
happen.
of them were like that for me.
So this movie was rated G on the thing I was watching it on, and
Yeah.
I was just like, what makes this G? My parents would absolutely be like, this movie is rated R. It's about two courtesans. It has child brides drinking and smoking throughout the film. Strippers,
cuss,
thievery, animal
and
cruelty.
They don't cuss and there's no pumping.
Yeah,
That's
no
what gets you in
pumping.
trouble.
But this film is considered a cultural, historical, and aesthetically significant by the U.S. Library of Congress and was selected to be preserved in the National Film Registry in 2012. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Well, and I think it absolutely should be.
I do too.
Is it something that would have ever flown in the Jones household?
No.
No.
Yeah, your
Even
parents are.
as a teenager,
Yeah.
like even as me coming home as a teenager who was interested in
Yeah.
theater and film and like, I want to watch this classic movie. I'm pretty sure my mom would have turned it off.
Mama and Papa Jonesy were not into the Holly Golightly lifestyle.
No,
not
this
at
would have
all,
been
right?
like literally, I think if they were forced to watch it, they would have said what I said with the evangelical glasses. The reason why her life is so sad and
don't
no
have
one
Jesus.
is happy is because she just fills it with nothing but sin.
So your mom would not like
Bullshit.
$50 to
No,
go to the powder room? You tell me
No.
one woman who doesn't want $50 to go to the
Tell
powder
me
room.
which man don't want $50 to go to the powder
right.
room.
Anyone outside of the spectrum. Anyone in or outside of the spectrum.
Anybody, any human,
yeah.
which human would say no to $50 to go to the powder room?
I bet
And
you
it
even the
took me-
Martians from Earth Girls Are Easy would take $50.
It took me forever to realize $50 for the powder room what it kind of really meant, and I was like, oh, she's a prostitute.
Yes.
Yeah, it took me a long
I didn't
time
know
to
for
realize.
sure if
Six
she
was
was
that.
for a lot longer. I knew he was a prostitute faster than I.
Well,
caught
I
on
would
that she
say
was a
escort. I
prostitute.
would use the word
I
escort.
would think he was a
to
kept
describe her.
man.
No. Do you think
He
he
was a
was a kept-
gigolo.
No, he was a gigolo. I
No,
would
because
say
it
in
was
the
just that
film.
one lady.
Yeah, the film version he is.
In the
but-
film version.
But the
Sorry,
book,
not
no.
in the book. No. In the
Yeah.
film version, he is just like a kept man.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, yeah, we need to keep going. What would
Yeah.
my parents with?
Well, that's good. Good segue.
A vodka martini and
Oui,
a
monsieur.
cigarette.
Wait.
Wait, let's start that over. Here is get me
Dry martini. Oui, monsieur. Wait. 3 measures of Gordon's, 1 of vodka, half a measure of quinoa lily. Shake it over ice and then add a thin slice of lemon peel.
It's drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
Grace, give me a stinger.
So this is the part of the show where we're gonna pick a beverage and some nibblies that we would pair with this film. Brynne, you can go first.
So I mean, like, I'm gonna pick whiskey that I pay for myself. And then a croissant.
A croissant.
And also a box of Cracker Jacks.
Nice. You know what? I'm gonna pick coffee with Bailey's and a croissant.
Ooh, I like that.
For the iconic for the opening scene, and just
like
add
it.
a little booze in there. What about you,
I
Jonesy?
want to do that now.
Yeah, don't
do
you?
that. Yeah.
What about you, Jonesy?
A vodka martini and a cigarette. No food.
That's good.
Oh,
Just
actually, that's
hunger.
oh,
I mean, that's the diet that you have if you're
Hunger.
Audrey Hepburn. And, yeah.
Just
God.
being hungry. So you can wrap that cord around your waist twice.
There was a time when Jonesy and I did live off of booze and cigarettes for like a
Yeah.
summer.
I don't recommend it.
I don't either, not at all. But yeah, there was a time. Okay, should we revisit our grades? Did we write them down from last week? I think.
I think I
Jonesy, do
did.
you have them?
Go Jonesy.
I have. Brynne gave it a B plus.
Okay.
And Tony gave it an A minus.
Okay. Brynne, what would you give it now this time around?
I'm gonna take off my nostalgia goggles.
Or
I'll give it
Tony,
an
you
A.
gave it an A. Sorry.
okay.
That was the dash for your grade.
I'll give it an A.
An A?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll go up to
okay.
A. You know,
It went up. It
the-
went up.
Problematic, but you know, stylistically and what it meant for film in general, A. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my original grade, an A. I am not giving it an A plus because of the problematic issue with Mickey Rooney's character. I can't, in good conscience, I cannot do that. Okay, Jonsy, what would you grade this film? And does it get a stamp in the Filmspringa passport for other ex-evangelical, ex-Jehovah Witness, ex-organized religious folks to watch?
It definitely gets a stamp in the passport. I think it does need to be seen. It's very iconic.
Yay.
It just helps to know what people are referencing. Moon River, I was like, that's what this is from.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh my God.
Not until she started singing it. And then I was like, is she referencing anything else? I was like, I think this is where it originated.
The little black dress originated from this
Yeah.
film.
Well, I knew that too. But I didn't know the Moon River part. But I would give this, I think, an A-.
Okay. Good.
It's still an A, not quite a B, but it has some points shaved off, things that don't stand the test of time, and then just other little things. Yeah.
Have you ever, Jonsy, have you ever seen How to Marry a Millionaire? With Lauren Bacall, Marilyn Monroe, and who was the third one in it? I can't remember.
Is it Joan?
Lauren Bacall.
Ava. It's not Ava Gardner,
No,
is it?
it might be Ava Gardner. But there's this is why I call Jonsy, because Lauren Bacall's character is called Jonsy, right? It always reminds me of Jonsy. And I can't believe you've never seen that movie.
We'll have to add it to the list.
Okay, now it's time to announce the movie for next week. And in honor of the Christmas season, Brynne, what is the pick for next week?
Our next movie is the family, completely appropriate favorite, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Everybody's so excited. The whole audience is so excited. Shut up. Thank you. Yes, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I haven't watched this in a long time, but it is a classic, and I think everybody watches it during Christmas. Everybody does. I love it. It's
a classic
so fun.
Christmas movie. And
what
funny.
would you grade it?
I'm giving it an A.
You are? I gotta give it an A+. I gotta give
Oh,
it
I mean A+. You always one up me. A+. I give it an A+ too.
Okay, Jonsy, based off of the title and the movie poster, what do you think it's about?
A family Christmas where everything goes wrong because it's Chevy Chase. And I think the brother or uncle and his family come and more things go wrong.
That's it.
That's it.
I know about this movie. We were never allowed to watch anything National Lampoon.
It's a bit of a more plot than Breakfast at Tiffany's. But
there is more of a linear plot than Breakfast at Tiffany's, though I don't think it occupies the same space in cinema history.
Oh, no, it does not. Maybe, but for other reasons. I don't know.
Well, I think it's definitely a part of American movie Christmas culture.
Yeah.
Like,
I love Beverly D'Angelo in this film.
Oh, she's so good. I love her. She's a stone cold weirdo.
I do. I know. And she's so good in this film.
Yep.
But yes, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is our next film. So this week or before our next episode, go out and watch it. So then you can discuss it, talk about it along with us. But that is it for us this week. You can follow us on Instagram, we're Filmspringa, and we're on Facebook, we're Filmspringa. And you can email us at filmspringapodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you get the 6 degrees between Audrey Hepburn and Chevy Chase. I am dying to see if anybody can.
We will read them and your name.
I am literally dying.
All the
big old shout out because I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, please let us know.
Yes, and follow the podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave us a good review. It helps us out a lot. Also, you can watch us every Friday night on Out at TV. So make sure you check out Out at TV. They have a bunch of other great content on there, not just our show. And our sister show, Who Invited Her, is on there too. So, that is it for us this week. And we will see everybody next week. Let me see if I can find the music. There we go. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, go watch the movie.
Go watch the movie.
Stay inside.
Yeah, stay inside.